In 2025, silence will be your loudest statement. You won't announce your departure. You won't send a warning. You will simply disappear. Not out of revenge, not out of hate, but because you finally realized your peace costs more than their presence. This is the year you stop over-explaining. The year you stop trying to convince people of your worth. Because every second you spend defending yourself to someone who already knows your value but chooses to ignore it is a second stolen from your own growth. Silence is not weakness. Silence is power, power that shakes the very ground beneath those who underestimated you. You see, when you argue, when you plead, when you keep showing up, you're giving them the stage to write your story. But when you go silent, you take the pen back. You tell them, without a word, your chapter in my life has closed. Some people can only respect you when they lose access to you. So cut the cord quietly. Don't block them for drama. Just remove your energy. Don't post about it online. Just let your actions speak. The people who truly mattered, they'll notice your absence and feel the void. And here's the secret. Silence heals faster than confrontation. Because you're not wasting months in toxic arguments. You're not replaying the pain over and over. You're choosing your energy like a queen chooses her crown, carefully, deliberately, unapologetically. By the time they realize what they lost, you'll be too busy living the life they could have been part of, but never will be again. Silence speaks louder than confrontation, because silence forces the other person to sit with their own actions. In confrontation, words can be twisted, emotions can be used against you, and your voice can be drowned out by defensiveness or denial. But silence, true, intentional silence, becomes a mirror they can't avoid. Imagine these two people are arguing, voices raised, emotions flaring, and both are more focused on defending themselves than actually understanding each other. Nothing is resolved, only more fuel is added to the fire. Now imagine the same situation, but instead of engaging, you simply step back, put your phone away, and walk away from the noise. The other person is left with nothing but their own words echoing in their mind. That echo will ring longer and cut deeper than any insult or rebuttal you could have thrown. Silence isn't about avoiding the truth. It's about letting the truth speak without you having to perform for it. In daily life, think about that colleague who constantly tries to provoke you in meetings, making sly comments to get a reaction. If you argue back, it becomes a spectacle, a clash of egos. But when you don't respond, when you just keep doing your work with calm precision, suddenly they're the only one talking. And in the eyes of others, their pettiness becomes more visible, while your composure becomes more powerful. Sometimes silence is the most dignified response because it protects your energy. Confrontation requires emotional investment. You have to prepare yourself, brace for impact, and often lower yourself into the same energy you're trying to escape. Silence costs nothing but gives you everything: peace, time, and control. Take the example of a relationship where one partner constantly disrespects the other's boundaries. You can keep fighting, keep trying to explain why it hurts. But if they've already shown they're not listening, words are wasted. One day, you just stop answering the calls, stop explaining, stop showing up where disrespect is normal. They'll feel that shift like a storm that suddenly goes quiet. Not because the storm is gone, but because it's moved far beyond their reach. The most fascinating thing about silence is that it demands interpretation. When you confront someone, they know exactly where you stand because you've told them. When you go silent, they're left guessing, are you angry? Are you over it? Are you happier without them? That uncertainty eats at them far more than a direct insult ever could. Think about when a celebrity unfollows someone quietly on social media. It creates more speculation, more whispers, more curiosity than a public statement ever would. Silence creates space for them to realize the weight of what they've lost. Silence is also a sign that you've outgrown the need for validation from that person. When you no longer need them to see your side or agree with your feelings, you free yourself. In everyday situations, imagine you have a friend who keeps canceling plans last minute, showing you they don't value your time. You could call them out every time, but instead, you simply stop making plans. You invest that time in new friendships, in self-care, in work you love. They will notice the absence when they're sitting alone on a Friday night, wondering why you didn't call. And in that moment, your silence has said, I value myself too much to keep chasing you. There's also a spiritual depth to silence. It's an act of faith. It's trusting that you don't need to defend yourself because the truth will surface without you forcing it. In the workplace, when someone spreads a rumor about you, your instinct might be to confront them publicly. But silence, paired with consistent integrity in your actions, will make that rumor dissolve faster than any argument. People will see your truth in how you carry yourself, not in how loudly you shout it. Silence also prevents you from being pulled into unnecessary chaos. Some people thrive on drama. They bait you with half-truths, throw emotional grenades, and then sit back to watch you explode. When you refuse to take the bait, you rob them of their favorite game. A family member tries to trigger you during a holiday dinner with a backhanded comment about your life choices. Instead of biting back, you smile, sip your tea, and talk about something else. In that moment, you've just taken the match out of their hand before they could light the fire. And sometimes, silence isn't just about power. It's about self-respect. It's saying, I don't need to win this argument to know my worth. When a store clerk treats you rudely, you don't have to match their energy. You simply take your business elsewhere. When someone mocks your dreams, you don't defend yourself. You let your success speak later. In every instance, silence is the most elegant armor. It doesn't make you look cold, it makes you look untouchable. What makes silence so unforgettable is that it's not loud in the moment, but it leaves a lasting impression. Words fade, but the memory of someone's absence remains. You'll notice this when someone you once relied on stops responding. At first, you wonder why. Then you think about what you did. Then you start to realize the impact. Silence is the teacher you can't argue with, the boundary you can't cross, the goodbye you never heard but always felt. It changes relationships, it shifts power, and it demands respect in a way no heated conversation ever could. Protect your peace is not just a phrase, it is a discipline, a sacred responsibility you owe to yourself. In a world where everyone wants a piece of your time, your attention, your emotions, protecting your peace means deciding what and who you allow into your space. Peace is not found, it is built brick by brick, decision by decision. And every time you let unnecessary drama, negative people, or toxic situations creep in, you're dismantling the very sanctuary you've worked so hard to create. Think of your peace like a beautiful home. You wouldn't leave your front door wide open for anyone to wander in. Yet, so many people do exactly that with their emotional space. In everyday life, imagine you wake up in the morning and the first thing you do is check your phone. Someone has sent you a passive-aggressive text. Another person has tagged you in something you don't like, and suddenly your day starts with agitation. Protecting your peace means deciding that your morning is yours. You don't owe the world your attention the moment you open your eyes. Instead, you take that first hour for yourself, stretch, make coffee, breathe. It's not selfish. It's survival. Because if you give away your calm too early, the rest of the day becomes a battlefield you never agreed to fight in. Sometimes protecting your peace means walking away from people who drain you, even if you love them. You may have a friend who always calls to complain, never to uplift. At first, you listen because you care, but over time, you realize every conversation leaves you heavy, exhausted. Protecting your peace means limiting that access. Not because you're cruel, but because you can pour from an empty cup. You can still care for them without sacrificing your own emotional health. It's like oxygen masks on a plane. You help yourself first so you have the strength to help others. There are moments when protecting your peace requires saying no, even when it disappoints people. At work, a colleague may constantly ask you to cover their responsibilities because they know you won't refuse. But every time you say yes, your own workload piles higher, your stress builds, your evenings disappear. Protecting your peace means learning to say, I can't take that on right now, without guilt. Boundaries are not walls, they are gates, and you get to decide who passes through. Protecting your peace also means filtering the noise. In the age of social media, the opinions of strangers can reach you faster than ever. One negative comment can spiral into self-doubt if you let it. But remember this, people's opinions are not your truth. You wouldn't drink from a dirty glass just because someone offered it. So why would you drink in someone's negativity? Protecting your peace is about curating what you consume, muting accounts that trigger you, unfollowing people who drain your spirit, surrounding yourself with energy that feels like sunlight. Sometimes protecting your peace requires making hard choices about your environment. Imagine you're in a job that pays well but is toxic, constant gossip, backstabbing, unrealistic demands. Your bank account is full, but your mind is empty, your health is fading. Protecting your peace might mean finding the courage to leave that job, even if it means starting smaller somewhere else. Peace is worth more than any paycheck because money can buy comfort, but it cannot buy rest for your soul. Another daily example is in family gatherings. Every family has that one person who always finds a way to criticize your career, your relationships, your body, your choices. Protecting your peace might mean avoiding long conversations with them or choosing not to attend every single event. You are allowed to protect your mental space, even from people who share your blood. Love does not require tolerating constant disrespect. Protecting your peace is also about time. Time is one of the most precious resources you have, and once it's gone, it never returns. People will waste it if you let them. Last-minute cancellations, pointless arguments, conversations that go in circles. Protecting your peace means valuing your time so much that you don't give it away carelessly. If someone cannot respect your time, they do not respect your peace. There's an unspoken truth. Protecting your peace will offend people. The moment you stop being available for every crisis, every favor, every drama, people will call you distant, selfish, even arrogant. Let them. The people who truly care for you will understand that your peace makes you better, stronger, more present when it truly matters. You can't shine if you're constantly dimming yourself to fit into someone else's chaos. Protecting your peace sometimes means keeping your dreams private until they're strong enough to face the world. Not everyone will be happy for you, and the wrong energy can suffocate your vision before it grows. Imagine planting a seed. You wouldn't dig it up every day to show people its progress, because that would kill it. You let it grow in silence. That's how you protect your peace while building your future. Even in love, protecting your peace is vital. Relationships should add to your calm, not constantly disrupt it. If you find yourself always anxious, always doubting, always defending your worth, that's a sign you're trading your peace for companionship. Protecting your peace means being willing to walk away from anyone who makes you feel unsafe emotionally. Love should feel like home, not like a battlefield. The reality is, protecting your peace is not about isolation, it's about alignment. It's about surrounding yourself with people, environments, and habits that nurture you instead of draining you. It's waking up each day and asking, does this bring me peace or steal it? And having the courage to act on the answer. No drama, just disconnection is the art of walking away without turning it into a performance. It's the decision to protect your dignity instead of feeding chaos. In life, there are people who thrive on drama. They poke, they prod, they provoke. Because your reaction is their entertainment. The moment you give them an emotional outburst, you've given them exactly what they wanted. But when you choose to disconnect quietly, without threats, without public announcements, without even a hint of bitterness, you take all the fuel out of their fire. Drama needs an audience to survive, and when you refuse to play the part, the scene ends before it even begins. Imagine you have a coworker who constantly makes sly comments to undermine you. You could confront them loudly in front of everyone, escalating the tension, turning the office into a war zone. Or you could choose a different route. You limit interactions, keep conversations strictly professional, and refuse to take the bait. Before long, they realize they can't get to you. They're swinging at the air while you move forward untouched. That's the power of no drama, just disconnection. Sometimes, no drama means not giving people the satisfaction of knowing they got under your skin. Think about a friend who suddenly becomes distant and starts talking behind your back. You hear the whispers, you know the details, and your first instinct is to confront them, to defend your name. But you realize that if they truly valued you, they wouldn't be doing it in the first place. So you quietly step away, you stop calling, you stop showing up, you stop explaining. And one day, they look around and realize you're not there anymore. And that silence will speak far louder than a screaming match ever could. There's a certain elegance in disconnection without drama. It's choosing to let go without the need to prove a point. People often believe closure comes from long conversations, endless explanations, or winning an argument. But closure often comes from you deciding, I'm done, and meaning it. In relationships, This can be as simple as packing your piece and leaving without warning signs. Not out of pettiness, but out of self-respect. When someone constantly disrespects you, you don't need to wait for the perfect speech to leave. You just go and your absence becomes your message. Drama invites chaos into your life, but disconnection invites peace. Consider social media as an example. Someone posts something clearly meant to provoke you. You could respond, write a paragraph, get into a heated back and forth for the whole world to see. Or you could quietly mute, unfollow or block without saying a word. There's no explosion, no I'm leaving, because just a simple removal of your energy from the conversation. That's how you win without fighting. In family dynamics, disconnection without drama is just as powerful. Maybe you have a relative who always makes holidays stressful with criticism or negativity. You could confront them in front of everyone, turning the gathering into a shouting match, or you could decide to attend less often, leave earlier, and refuse to engage in toxic conversations. You haven't created a scene, you've simply protected your peace by removing yourself from the cycle. And when they eventually notice, they'll have no public performance to point to, only the quiet truth that you've chosen something healthier for yourself. One of the hardest places to practice no drama, just disconnection, is in love. When a partner mistreats you, there's a temptation to leave with a grand statement, to show them how much they've hurt you. But sometimes, the most impactful exit is the quiet one. No last text, no long letter, no emotional goodbye. Just you walking away and rebuilding your life somewhere they can't reach you. The lack of confrontation leaves them wondering, and that wondering will last far longer than any words you could have spoken. Disconnection without drama is also a form of emotional discipline. It's you proving to yourself that you don't need the last word to win. You don't need validation from the other side. You don't need to tell your version of the story for the truth to exist. In friendships, this might look like not rushing to defend yourself when someone distorts your intentions. You simply let people believe what they want and continue living in a way that proves them wrong. Over time, your consistent peace will outshine their noise. Everyday life offers countless small moments to choose this path. Someone cuts you off in traffic, you could honk, yell and stew in frustration for hours, or you could let it go, knowing their recklessness doesn't deserve your energy. A stranger on the internet tries to provoke you with a nasty comment. You could reply and start an endless argument. Or you could scroll past and keep your day intact. These moments seem small, but each one is a rehearsal for the bigger times in life, when you'll need to choose peace over reaction. No drama, just disconnection, is the ultimate declaration of self-worth. It's saying, I am not available for chaos, I am not available for manipulation, and I am not available for disrespect. It's walking away without slamming the door, because you don't need the noise. It's understanding that your life moves forward the moment you stop looking back. It's refusing to give anyone the satisfaction of watching you break. It's knowing that your silence will echo in their mind far longer than your voice ever could. Shift the power back to you means reclaiming control over your emotions, your decisions, and your narrative. Too often, people give their power away without even realizing it. By letting someone else's opinion determine their worth, by reacting to every insult, by needing validation to feel whole. The moment you let someone dictate how you feel about yourself, you've handed them the keys to your peace. Taking that power back doesn't mean becoming cold or unfeeling. It means standing so firmly in your truth that no one's actions can shake your foundation. In daily life, think about the times you've let someone's words ruin your day. A coworker makes a sarcastic comment about your work, and suddenly your confidence is shattered. That's giving them power. Shifting the power back means recognizing that their opinion doesn't define your skill, your talent, or your value. Instead of spiraling into self-doubt, you remind yourself they're entitled to the words, but I'm entitled to my belief in myself. You keep working with focus, not to prove them wrong, but to stay aligned with your own standards. Shifting the power back also means refusing to be emotionally manipulated. In relationships, some people will push your buttons just to watch you react. They'll create arguments, give silent treatments, or dangle affection like a reward. When you chase their approval, you're playing their game. But when you stop reacting, when you choose calm over chaos, you take their control away. Imagine a partner who always threatens to leave during disagreements to make you beg them to stay. One day, instead of pleading, you say, "If that's your choice, I respect it," and you let them walk. In that moment, the dynamic shifts completely. They realize they can no longer use fear to hold you. Another way to reclaim power is by setting boundaries without apology. If you're always available for everyone's demands, you're giving away your time and energy without limit. Shifting the power back might look like saying no to extra work when your plate is already full, or declining an invitation that doesn't align with your values. At first, people might resist because they were used to having unlimited access to you. But over time, they'll learn that your time is valuable because you treat it that way. Sometimes, you give away your power by letting people live rent-free in your mind. You replay the hurtful things they said, you overanalyze every interaction, you wonder what they think of you. Shifting the power back means evicting them from that mental space. Think of it like this: every time you dwell on them, you're handing them free control over your mood. Instead, you redirect your energy into things that actually grow you, your health, your work, your passions. The more you invest in yourself, the less room there is for their influence. Social media offers another daily example. You post something you're proud of, but one negative comment pulls all your attention. That's giving your power to a stranger who doesn't even know you. Shifting the power back means reminding yourself that the opinion of someone who adds no value to your life is irrelevant. You don't delete your post or change your voice to please them. You keep showing up exactly as you are, knowing that the right people will connect with your authenticity. In friendships, power shifts can happen in subtle ways. Maybe you're always the one reaching out, making plans, checking in. Over time, you notice they rarely do the same. Instead of confronting them with frustration, you quietly pull back. You stop overextending, and you let them show you whether they value the friendship without your constant effort. That's shifting the power back. You're no longer chasing connection, you're letting reciprocity be the proof. There's also a financial angle to this. Many people stay in unhealthy situations because they depend on someone else for security. Shifting the power back can mean working towards your own financial independence so that no one can use money as a chain around your freedom. Imagine being in a relationship where your partner pays for everything but uses it to control you, telling you what you can and cannot do. The day you have your own income, your own savings, is the day you make choices based on what's best for you, not on what you're allowed. In family relationships, shifting the power back sometimes means breaking patterns that have been in place for years. Maybe you were always the peacemaker, the one smoothing over conflicts to keep everyone happy, even when it hurt you. But one day you decide you won't carry that role anymore. You stop over-explaining your choices. You stop bending to keep the peace. And you let others manage their own emotions. It's not rebellion. It's reclaiming the space to live authentically. Shifting the power back is also about mastering your reactions. People can throw insults, lies, or provocations your way, but your response is the one thing they can't control, unless you hand it to them. If you answer anger with anger, they've won. If you match their negativity, they've pulled you into their arena. But if you choose calm detachment, you've reminded them and yourself that you are the one steering your life. It's not about pretending you don't care. It's about caring more for your peace than for winning an argument. Ultimately, shifting the power back to you is an act of self-trust. It's looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, I decide how this story goes. You don't need their approval, their apology, or their permission to move forward. You understand that your life is not in the hands of the people who hurt you. It's in yours. Every boundary you set, every toxic cycle you walk away from, every time you choose growth over reaction, you're pulling the power back into your own hands. Healing happens faster in silence because silence removes the constant noise that keeps wounds open. When you're in pain, whether it's heartbreak, betrayal, or disappointment, the world will try to pull you into endless conversations, explanations, and retellings of the hurt. Every time you repeat the story, you're reliving it. Silence is where the replay stops. Silence is where you stop feeding the wound and start letting it close. It's in the quiet moments, away from the opinions and interruptions, that you can finally hear your own voice saying, I will be okay. When you choose silence, You're not running away from the truth. You're creating space to process it without outside influence. Imagine ending a relationship and immediately being bombarded by friends asking what happened, wanting every detail. Talking about it over and over might feel comforting at first, but it keeps the pain fresh, like ripping the scab off before it heals. Choosing silence allows you to sit with your emotions without having to justify them to anyone. In that stillness, you can cry, you can reflect, you can begin to see the situation for what it was, not just for how it felt in the heat of the moment. Healing in silence also keeps you from being pulled back into situations that hurt you. Think about an argument with a family member that leaves you feeling drained. If you keep engaging, sending long texts to explain yourself, calling to defend your side, you're re-entering the emotional battlefield again and again. But when you step back, choose not to respond for a while, and give yourself breathing room, you start to see the bigger picture. You realize not every conflict needs a resolution right now. Sometimes the resolution is your peace. In the workplace, silence can be just as powerful for healing. Imagine being unfairly criticized in a meeting. The instinct might be to defend yourself immediately, to argue your point until everyone sees your side. But that often leads to tension and more misunderstanding. Choosing silence, stepping back, processing, and responding later with clarity allows your emotions to settle so your actions are intentional, not reactive. In that space, you heal from the sting of unfairness faster because you're not fueling it with ongoing conflict. Silence also helps you control what you take in. When you're hurting, people will give advice, share their opinions, and sometimes project their own fears onto you. This can be overwhelming and even delay healing because you're carrying their voices alongside your own pain. Silence is like closing the door to all that noise and saying, I need to hear myself right now. For example, after losing a job, friends and family might bombard you with suggestions and worries. But if you give yourself a few days of quiet before discussing it, you can process the loss on your own terms and start planning your next step with a clear mind. Sometimes, silence is the only way to keep your healing from being sabotaged. In matters of the heart, if you keep communicating with the person who hurt you, even small conversations can reopen the wound. You might think you're moving on, but one text, one call, one meeting can pull you back emotionally. By going silent, no texts, no calls, no accidental check-ins, you give your heart the space it needs to detach. Imagine someone quitting a harmful habit. If they stay around the same triggers and keep talking about the habit, it's harder to break free. Silence is like removing the triggers completely so healing can happen without constant temptation. Healing in silence also allows your mind to shift from survival mode to growth mode. When you're constantly talking about pain, your body stays tense, your mind stays alert to threats, and you're stuck in a loop of emotional survival. But when you find moments of silence, walking alone, journaling without sharing it, meditating, you teach your mind that it's safe again. You begin to notice beauty in small things like the warmth of sunlight on your face or the sound of your own steady breathing. These are the moments where real healing takes root. Even in friendships, silence can heal. If you've had a falling out, rushing to fix it can lead to words said out of desperation or defensiveness. By stepping back, you allow both sides to cool down, to reflect on their own behavior. Many friendships have been saved because someone chose silence over a heated reply, giving time for wounds to close before reaching out again. Silence is also a shield from unnecessary drama during your healing. People might speculate about why you've pulled back, they might assume or gossip. But your silence keeps you above it. You're not giving anyone material to twist or use against you. You're not inviting more